Hey guys, how's it going? Today I have a special treat for you. While playing through the most recent Gouda Gouda, we were given some information that made me very curious about a mysterious black-clad beauty in Chaldea, Oryou.
Yay!
Oryou in real life, as well as in-game, was Ryoma's wife. I've covered the historical Oryou before in my Ryoma video, but long story short, she was a tomboyish girl who stood by Ryoma in life. One of their major contributions as a couple was being the first Japanese couple to have a honeymoon, which took place at Mount Takachio, and during this time Ryoma removed the Heavenly Spear from its summit. If you'd like more details on that, please go check out my Ryoma video. But that got me wondering as to who exactly Fate's Oryou is. The facts in the case, which we will get into a little bit more detail here in a second, are that she was a somewhat powerful god who was powerful enough to consume entire villages if left unsated. As a result, the gods intervened and rooted her to the top of Mount Takachio with the use of the divine spear, Ame no Sakahoko. While that final part I believe is a fully Fate invention, I did find local legends around the Takachio area regarding massive godlike serpents that were deified due to their mighty power. So, let's look into the real historical Oryou. I want to be transparent about my sources here. These are sources that are in Japanese that have been translated into English with a combination of Google and my own reading ability. As such, this may not be 100% accurate. There's also not very many primary sources, like actual novels and books, done on research for this topic, so once again, some details may or may not be fully accurate. Let's start with talking about Oryou's in-game self, because this is what will serve as the baseline to find a good match.
Peasu Peasu.
Oryou is alluded to being a remnant deity from the time the world was being created by Izanagi and Izanami. She was not so much a dragon as she was a snake, and was shunned by the gods in her form, and thus was discarded to the sea. She began to nurse a grudge against the gods for this action, and when she eventually washed onto the land and settled in Takachio, she began to rampage. She ate everything in her path, including innocent people. Her powers grew to the point where she became nearly unrivaled on land, and thus made a boastful threat to the heavens that she would become a dragon and come for them next. In response, the gods sealed her away on Takachihomine with the divine spear Ame no Sakahoko. There she was stuck, and her grudge against the gods grew more and more, vowing to destroy everything as soon as she was freed, becoming a nation-devouring monster. That's when she met Ryoma.
あいつ、食べていいか?
He climbed the mountain and found the monster with the spear through it, and could only think of one thing: it must have been hard for you. Thus, he removed the spear and left. Oryou was baffled. She had been prepared to trick him into removing the spear with promises of great power, and then to eat him as soon as it was done. But he did it without a promise of anything in return. This caused all of those centuries of anger, resentment, and hatred to just fade away, as she immediately fell in love with a curiously shady man. From then on, she would always be with him until the day that he died. That's Oryou and Fate and our jumping off point. Next, it might be good to talk about the relationship between Japan and snake gods. Snakes are associated with divinity and folk belief, due to their ability to shed their skins and are often viewed as messengers of the gods. As such, killing snakes was viewed as a good way to get yourself cursed. Tales involving these curses can be found in retellings of the Hyakumonogatari and are pervasive in Japanese media as well. On top of that, despite their divine nature, snakes are often seen as antagonistic. Take the massive Yamada no Orochi that would eat maidens until it was stopped by the gods, or the snake deity of Mount Ibuki that killed and cursed a number of historical Japanese figures. Oryou would have been active in the region of the Takachio Gorge, which touches several different prefectures, and as a result there are several conjoining shrines dedicated to serpent deities and stories. In fact, around the area of Takachio, there are multiple shrines dedicated to snakes or snake gods, with common offerings being sake and eggs. Many of these shrines as well share similar stories of both malevolent and benevolent snakes, with offerings being made to appease the evil ones and show gratitude towards the good ones. All of these stories together are what likely were lumped together to form what we know today as Oryou.
Hey, hey.
This is furthered by a local legend about a white snake that took the form of a beautiful woman at the Utahime Shrine, which has been rendered nearly impossible to research thanks to Jujutsu Kaisen. We'll come back to this story in a minute. A lot of these more minute legends that may have had a hand in influencing Oryou's existence are difficult to research because they are folk legends tied to very specific shrines, meaning that this is mostly information you will not find on the internet, let alone in English. In fact, the name given to the deity that is said to inhabit the Takachio Gorge, as well as the surrounding mountains, was simply called Daimyojin. Now, Daimyojin is a title rather than a name, and it's used in reference to a powerful god. However, it became popular to refer to local deities as place Daimyojin. So if you were from Suwa, you might call your local powerful deity the Suwa Daimyojin, rather than their actual name. In the case of the Oryou candidate here, there was one name that kept popping up when I was searching for this. Oni Hachiki Hachi. Oni Hachiki Hachi, also known as Kojin Hajiki, was a monstrous snake deity that lived in the Takachiyo area. The deity would destroy crops, kill cattle, and eat people. In its rampage, the monster grew bold and lifted a 200-ton stone and threw it at the shrine of the local enshrined deity in order to mock it. In retaliation, the enshrined deity attacked the monster head-on, killing it. However, after a short time, it would revive itself and begin rampaging once more. So the deity tried again and was met with the same result. In order to end this monster once and for all, the deity cut it into 3 pieces, which were then buried under massive mound. To this day, the massive boulder thrown by the monster can still be visited and is considered a power stone. Now, substitute out some of the details of this story, primarily the climax being the god side help and thus pinned the monster to a mountain with a spear, and we essentially have the tale of Fate's Oryou. To revisit the tale of Utahime Shrine, there are several tales from around this area that are similar, in that one day a beautiful woman appears in town and the townspeople are smitten by her good looks and kind nature. They want to know about the mysterious girl, but she disappears at night. One day, a brave person, usually a love-struck villager, noble, or samurai, places a pin in her hair and follows her at night. She disappears at the mouth of a cave, and upon entering, the pursuer finds a white snake with a hairpin. So if we combine these folkloric tales together, of a massive deific snake god that has regenerative properties, with the tales of other snake deities who rampage and cause curses, and topping it off with a shape-shifting legend involving not just any kind of snake, but a beautiful white snake, I think we have come upon a perfect recipe to make Sakamoto Ryoma's wife, Oryou.
カエルでも取りに行こう。
Of course, until we're told outright what the inspiration was for her character, this will remain just a theory. On that, thank you guys so much for watching. This is kind of a weird video because it's low on details, but when you're trying to cross-reference things through Google Translate, it gets a bit murky. Oryou herself is a curious addition to Fate, and one that exists in what I shit you not is called the world of Gouda Gouda. For now though guys, thank you again. Check my links for my Discord, Twitch, and Twitter. But for now, keep your chin up. Peace.